Sorry, I think there's a problem with the data. So I was on how the name was, how the name Ru Afza came about. Well, there is no. I mean, I couldn't find anything which talked about why the name came about. Of course, the Ru Afza website for Bangladesh says that it came from a book written by a person called Daya Shankar Nazim Lakhnavi. The book's name was Masnavi Gulzar Nazim. So that is how the name came about. They also said that there was a newspaper or a publication called Ru Afza in Jaunpur sometime in the 1880s. But there is, I mean, of course, one of the successors of the family also say that that's how the name came about from the book. Now, the Ruabza family, the Ruabza, the person who developed Ruabza was a person called Hakim Abdul Majid in 1906, 1907, and it was on the first list of medicinal products by Hamdard as early as 1908. In 1922, Hakim Abdul Majid passed away, and the mantle fell on his 12-year-old son and his wife. I mean, Abdul Majid's wife and his 14-year-old son to run the Dawakhana. In 1948, that's after partition, the family split in the sense that Hakim Muhammad Sayyid, the younger brother of Hakim Abdul Hamid, went over to Pakistan and started in Karachi a small two-room establishment which became so popular that in 1954 it became the Hamdard Waqf of Pakistan. Then the other partition of Pakistan happened between East and West Pakistan, and the establishment in the Hamdard establishment in East Pakistan was gifted by Hakim Muhammad Saeed, that is the brother who went to Pakistan, to the employees. He eventually became the governor of the province of Sindh in the 1990s, and he was assassinated sometime towards the end of the last century. So one of the questions that was asked was whether there is any special ingredients in Ru Afza that makes it so tasty. I have absolutely no idea. I've had Ru Afza, but I mean, I've had Ru Afza as I've had other rose syrups, but that's something that I can't really decide. Because when I came to Delhi when I came from Bombay to Delhi, Bombay, the more favored syrup was probably Rasna, which came in concentrate form, and Ru Afza was a revelation for me. Ru Afza, I mean, rose syrup is not really a Delhi preserve in the sense that it's there in Persia, it is there it is consumed by a lot by Parsis. Incidentally, in Chennai, rose milk is quite a popular thing, and they said 1820s when Parsis started setting up shop in Chennai. That's how it started becoming more famous. Rose syrup is also used in Faluda, the desert Faluda, not Faluda, because Faluda literally refers to the sevai, the vermicelli kind of topping that is used there, which is actually cornstarch or starch from grains passed through a sieve or an apparatus. It's They use sabza, etc. A similar thing is also very famous in South India. It's called Jil Jil Jigar Thanda. But it's pronounced in a different way there. Jil Jil means cold, cold. And Jigar Thanda, of course, has the same meaning that has here, but it's pronounced in an entirely different way. So that is the end of my talk. It was interrupted a couple of times by, I think, a power outage or a data outage. Uh, and that's about it. Anything that you have to ask? Well, thank you. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of Ru Afza. So, Richa Prasad, yes, I've been honest about the taste. One that enhances the spirit and uplifts the soul, says Shweta Molla. I mean, yes, it says that one that enhances the soul. Yes, so that is it. I can't attest to, of course, whether it does or it doesn't. But does the drink taste the same in all the countries? Oh, okay, fine. I have not had it in Pakistan, so I can't say. But yes, what they've said is that the formulation why the countries, even right from the date of inception, the formulation is kept the same. The process has changed in the sense the way to obtain distillates from fruits and flowers have changed, but the taste and the formulation has been kept constant right from the inception. So I can one can only assume that it tastes the same in all these three countries. Interestingly, when last year there was a sort of a shortage of Ruh Afza in the country because of probably a family dispute. Pakistan had offered to supply. It's also interesting because Pakistan, and if you go through the list of medicines listed both in Pakistan and in Bangladesh, you don't have to go through. I've gone through them. I went through them yesterday, and you'll find Joshanda, Safi, then Sinkara, and almost all of these medicines that are sold in India are also sold in Pakistan and Bangladesh. And there is no dispute between the three Ruh Afza, between the three Ruh Afza establishments, the three Hamdards, with respect to the products sold. So you'll find Sinkara, you'll find Joshanda, you'll find Safi, you'll find all of that in the list. I think Ruh Afza comes, it's alphabetically arranged. So of course you can do a control F on your, you can do control F and look for it. So that's whether it tastes the same in all the three countries. Anything else? Joshanda, Safi are typically Punjabi home medicines, says Shweta. What does Afza mean? Okay, the literal meaning of Afza in Arabic is to increase. Ruh, of course, means Ruh, of course, means uh, the soul. So if you read soul increase, that does not make any sense. It's probably something that satisfies your soul. Zahir Hassan Dehli was referring to Pul Bangash Baraf Khana as we read in last Mughals. Yes, I mean I am assuming that he was referring to Pul Bangash Baraf Khana. Dalrymple says it. Dalrymple I think says it somewhere in CP, which in Jaisingpur or someplace, which I doubt. The Baraf Khana in Pul Bangash, that's the one that is near. That's the one as you come down the ridge. It's just opposite. I mean, it used to be opposite the Red Dead. I wish I had taken a photograph when I was in college. There used to be these tall steel girders from where water used to drip down. Um, so that could be the Baraf Khana. Though to be very frank, for the past 4 or 5 days, I tried to look for documents, anything which refers to the age of that Baraf Khana. But the most common answer I found out was that the Baraf Khana must have come only after 1857, because which had resulted in the disruption of ice pits and importation. So so I'm going to leave it out there. Probably if you find something, please let me know. Thank you for this very different. Oh, thank you, Swati. I hope it's been interesting. Oh, excellent. Oh, thank you again, Shweta. Thanks, Jaya. By the way, did you get your answer to the Faluda thing, Jaya? Oh, thank you, Richa, that you enjoyed the Ghalib reference. It will keep popping into almost all my talks. And Baraf Khana history, I was non-committal about it. So, oh, thank you, Rohan, for being a part of it. Okay, I'm not going to dignify that with the response, but thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Okay, just Shweta. Okay, what I said about ice is a lot of it comes from this paper. It dates from 1991, and of course these pages from Fanny Park's book that's available on archive.org. So it is somewhere. So it's not really very complicated. So thank you all for being a part of the session. Thank you and hope to see you sometime in the future. So take care and stay home.